Hey, how are you? I'm Mark Palchik, and I gotta tell you, I really love Washington, D.C. Yeah! Except, you know, it's getting too damn expensive. I mean, do you have any idea what it costs these days to buy a politician? And they just are not worth it. We have a D.C. council member that tweeted the Jews control the weather. Really? The Jews? They haven't been able to control the weather since they left Egypt the first time. And besides which, if they really had that superpower, they would just keep Manhattan warm. And speaking of Manhattan, have anyone here seen that show, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? Yes, yes. Do you like it? You do? I'm not sure it's politically correct to like that show. If you think about it, it really is not significantly different than Tyler Perry's Medea movies. Except they've substituted Jewish stereotypes for African American stereotypes. And quite frankly, I am getting sick to shit of these asinine, overworked, hackneyed Jewish stereotypes. I mean, the henpecked Jewish husband, which Woody Allen calls a nebbish, the boorish merchant whose only aphrodisiac is money. All right, so that's my uncle, but let's forget that. And of course, for Noah, you know, the Jewish American ice princess. Come on. So, do I like that? Let me tell you, I don't. I love it. It is great. And besides which, most people think they're just talking about New Yorkers. But you know, not every politician says stupid shit all the time. Well, most of the time, like yesterday. But every once in a while, we do get some words of wisdom. You get, we must remember that we are all descendants of immigrants and revolutionists. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Ask not what your country can do for you, but rather ask what you can do for your country. John Fitzgerald Kennedy. I say, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. Right, and then of course, more recently, I did not have sex with that woman. Now you probably thought I was going to do Trump's, we will build a great, great wall along our southern border. But that's not his. The Chinese said that 1,000 years ago. And how well has that worked? I mean, there are Americans all over that place. But I do wish that politicians would do something about gun violence. Do you realize that more people are killed every year in America from automatic weapons than all the soldiers that have been killed in Afghanistan since 9/11? Yeah, that's terrible. That's awful. We've got to do something about it. But not this liberal bullshit gun control. That ain't going to work. What we got to do is let every psychopath that wants to have a gun, let them. Take it to Afghanistan, where they can make Afghanistan great again. Because, you know, quite frankly, we should be exporting our best, fastest growing resource, you know, domestic terrorism. So speaking of terrorism, have you read about the big controversy about this dog park up here? People are very upset that the city wants to sell it to someone who will put affordable housing in there instead of letting the neighborhood, this, you know, very balanced neighborhood, have a dog park. Should they keep the dog park? Well, I will tell you that I did notice, this being Black History Month, I went by there and I looked at all the people with their dogs, and I noticed that the only blacks there were a terrier and a black Labrador. Everyone else, just like this. So, I don't know how to come out on that issue. So, where I grew up in Akron, Ohio, we did not have this problem. I mean, we had really nothing to do. All we really had to do was to go to evangelical churches to be saved. And I went. Oh, yeah. Yep. I got to see the Reverend Rex Humbard. And he was amazing. He was so charismatic. He had so much power. You know, he had the power to take away all your sins. He had the power to take away all your illnesses. He had the power to take all major credit cards. But not American Express. And boy howdy, I wanted that power. So I went to my career counselor and I said, Rabbi, I want to be an evangelical preacher. And he said, you know, Mark, they don't let Jews do that. I'm Mark Pal.